Welcome to the Entrepreneur's Storytelling Playbook, where you learn the plays to become a successful entrepreneur storyteller. So I'm your host, David Michael Boji. Got a PhD. I've been teaching storytelling at universities and doing consulting and being a coach to entrepreneurs. So we're here to shape the entrepreneur storyteller to be successful and to move from the first $100,000 of entrepreneurship to the $1 million level, and then the $500 million level, and past that, and join a special elite group of storytellers that learn the secrets of storytelling success. It's like a three-legged stool, but you got one leg missing. So here are the three legs. Listen up. First thing you need is a strategy. That's why we call it the playbook. The second thing you need is authenticity, to be genuine, being your authentic, true self in the stories you're telling to investors, to employees, right? To customers. Now, the thing is, the third one, you need the courage, right? To close, to monetize, to pop the question, to make the sale. So most entrepreneurs are good at two of the three things. I know my dad was really good at the storytelling part, but really bad at the business part. He was missing that leg. And I'm going to tell you, I grew up with him and watched him. He could tell the most compelling stories. He could ignite the brand, made compactor machines for apartment buildings and businesses, made the first standalone big screen TV, got an award from the patent office for his inventions, but he couldn't hold on to the money. So when you're looking at this notion of storytelling, I'm going to pause here and I don't want to miss anything for you. As an entrepreneur, you need that ability to tell the compelling stories, right? And to be a master at what you're doing. So I want to walk you through what I call the storytelling playbook methodology. It combines rhythm and contrast and emphasis in harmony and balance. Now that sounds like a design principle. It is. And I use that principle to become Teacher of the Year, to start my own business. And I decided to just commit myself to storytelling and crafting a pitch, doing a blog, reaching out to the audience, making YouTubes, being a successful entrepreneur. Now, Elon Musk, I don't agree with everything, but he is an entrepreneur. Sarah Blakely, Richard Branson, what do they all have in common? They tell a clear story that resonates. For Musk, it's about humanity's future in space, or doing the underground in LA. Blakely, it's a journey of solving a real problem women faced with confidence. Their stories amplified their businesses, right? And as entrepreneur, your story does three key things. Right? It creates emotional resonance. It builds trust. It distinguishes your brand from the noise out there. That's why you need authentic storytelling in the heartbeat of your entrepreneurship. So you're building a movement. You're building momentum. That's why you need a playbook. The core framework: rhythm, contrast, emphasis. You got to have a focus. Rhythm needs contrast. Emphasis needs harmony and balance. I learned this from Eleanor Brigant at a point in my life when I was on a downward spiral. And she taught it to me. She coached me for free. She was so patient. I couldn't believe it. And I put it to use. I actually thought I could change the world with this kind of approach. And at its heart, great storytelling has a rhythm. And it has pauses, it has contrast, it has harmony, it has balance, right? You're setting the pace of your story, right? And the flow of the storytelling itself. And I've noticed indigenous communities are really good at this. There's repetitions, repeating the same line about the three-legged stool, and not being rushed, going slow, having a pause. There's a pause. You're telling your original story, your authentic story. You start with a spark, a moment when you realize the problem existed, When I didn't get tenure at UCLA, I was like, oh my gosh, what am I doing wrong? Well, I was telling everybody else's stories. I wasn't living my own story. And when I looked at my dad's situation, what was he doing wrong? He was a great storyteller, but he couldn't manage a business. And if you notice what happens in the rhythm of entrepreneurship, the business people come and take the entrepreneur's business away from them because they don't know how to run a business. Very few people have both legs to do the story and lack the third leg of closing the deal. So that the contrast and the transitions are very important. It's the difference between when you started and where you are now. Imagine telling a story of the struggle you have as an entrepreneur. This is going to bring passion, the highs and lows of inventing. I remember my dad was penniless after AT&T and the divorce, etc. And he had very little money. But if he wanted to create an invention that would change ecology, would lessen the amount of stuff in the landfill, compressing it so there'd be less volume, be less burning through incinerators. So he called a lawyer and got a game-changing decision from a lawyer. He just picked one out of the phone book and called. And he sold him with the story because he was passionate. He was convinced as an inventor, as an entrepreneur, he could get a business off the ground. The lawyer happened to have the biggest law firm for real estate in New York and New Jersey. And anyway, financed him with a lot of the investors that the lawyer had and started the business. I remember coming into that business and when it was just in a converted liquor store, and my dad said, well, we're going to have 17 mayors here today, and I need you to go get garbage cans. And I was in my fatigues. I was on my way to Vietnam, but I was home for a while. So harmony and balance, right? Harmony is unity and variety. So I got variety in my storytelling, but I got a unity focused on my emphasis, which is entrepreneurial storytelling. I got contrast, right? But it's not chaotic, right? I got enough differences going on, but I got a movement and a rhythm. And the balance in this storytelling is when I slow down and then when I add excitement. Well, those 17 chauffeur-driven limousines showed up, and my gosh, it was amazing. My eyes bulged. I could hear his new machine trying to plunge garbage through this funnel that he built, and the thing was creaking and groaning, called it the monster. Now that you have the framework, let's put it into action. Here's a 3-step thing you can do for homework. Define the core message of your entrepreneurship. What is your story? What is the one thing you want your audience to remember, right? Create the story arc. Use rhythm and contrast with emphasis to map out your storytelling. Have a beginning, middle, and end, yeah, but have lots of rises and falls and practice. I used to practice in front of my daughter when she was in the high chair, and that's how I got to be Teacher of the Year 6 times in a row at Loyola Marymount University. I was inspiring. I was on fire. But I rehearsed what I was going to do, and I said, I'm going to do storytelling in every single class and every single venture. I'm going to craft that story. I'm going to transform my career. I'm going to work with entrepreneurs, help them do their storytelling just a wee bit better. Because if you tell a better story, you're going to come across better. But if you can also manage your business, right, you got that second leg of the stool. And the third leg is if you can close and make the pitch. I'm making you a pitch because if you're in entrepreneurship out there, the next step is for you to get a hold of me. Just contact me at davidboji.com or go to csistory.com. I'm there to help, and I'll offer you a free half hour of entrepreneurship storytelling consultation. We can do it on Zoom. We can do it on the phone. You can come to New Mexico. You can do it in person. All right. So I really hope you've enjoyed this session, and I want to thank you very, very much. And Go to csistory.com or davidboje.com, and it's spelled B-O-J-E, just the way my dad spelled it. All right? So combine storytelling and a business sense with your entrepreneurship, and you will be successful beyond imagination.